What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another morning commute. That makes sense, and that makes sense, but combining the two doesn't make sense. Let's get into it. It smells so good. It is a beautiful morning, so I am excited for this ride in. Okay, let's go. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful 60-degree morning. Enjoy the views real quick. I just wanted to take today to talk about a subject that I've seen a lot lately. A lot of YouTubers have covered it. I think a lot of them have gotten stuff right, but I wanted to give you my opinions on my take. I think electric cars do have a place on the roads, I really do, but electric bikes do not, at least not at this point. So, again, this is all my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to comment, but I feel that bikes are all about lightweight, basically power to weight ratio, and with batteries, or at least the current battery state, you're sacrificing one of the two. You can either have a ton of power or lightweight, or, well, I guess this is how I should put it. You can have a ton of power and lightweight with the battery, but it's not going to last very long. Electric motorcycles have pretty much a 100-mile range, and I mean my bike does too, so you'd think why is that a problem? But it comes to the charging. So with electric vehicles, with the cars and the trucks, they can charge at stupid high rates, like 350 kilowatt for the Chevy Silverado EV. Now, motorcycles cannot charge that fast. They have a simple little, I think it's a J1772 plug, and you have to wait quite a while to charge them up. And with cars, you can kind of afford to only have 80% because the battery charges very fast up to that 80% normally. But with bikes, if you want that full 100-mile range, you need to top up. And topping up takes the longest amount of time. Cars also don't have to worry as much about the power to weight as motorcycles do. So with cars, you can have a Tesla weigh like 4,000 pounds and have a 300-mile range. That's no problem, and it's still pretty quick. It's good enough. With a motorcycle, you start having like these Harley live wires and stuff. Like, okay, yeah, they have a butt ton of torque, which is awesome, but when it comes to range and actually being able to utilize it on a daily basis, if not, on a longer ride, that doesn't seem to be feasible. And I'll admit, I like to nerd out over the specs a little bit, but that's just how I am. I'm a numbers guy, so whenever I see stuff, I like to research it, understand it a little better. And I think the Zero motorcycles are really cool. Again, I'm not dissing the fact that they're really fun bikes. It just comes down to what my friends and I like to do, and that's go on rides that would drastically limit us to where we could go. Whereas while this thing might have a 100-mile range, I just go to the gas station, fill it up in a little less than 5 minutes, and I go on my way. Again, I think I have a unique perspective since my daily driver is normally a Tesla, so I definitely know its perks and its downfalls. Perks, it's really cheap, so electric bikes would be really cheap as well. If you're daily commuting on it, they're probably great for that. But again, if you want to do anything else with it, I think you'd be severely limited. You would have much worse of a time on it. All right, let's take some back roads. I'm almost through this tire already, which sucks, but just get another one, I guess. Do quality ownership for you. I'm trying to get a little better at wheeling. The bad part about my commuting on this thing is that my sides of my tire are still not like new, but they're way more new than my middle of my tire. Woo! Maybe the flat middle of the tire makes it a little easier to wheelie, but we'll see when I get a new one how much I kind of sway to the side a little bit. I do have some sad news for you guys. So this morning, Kevin and I were planning on swapping motorcycles so that I could give you guys a review on the Aprilia as like a daily commute, and then give a full review of it after, being able to ride it for a little bit. And unfortunately, when he went to start it, it wouldn't start. The screen was flickering and it wouldn't even crank. So we We don't know what's going on with it. We're hoping it's the battery, but he specifically bought a lithium-ion battery tender because that's what comes in those. So I'm curious on what it's going to end up being, and I'm super bummed out, obviously, given the circumstances. He just got it, so it's kind of sad. Could be something simple. We're not sure yet, so I don't want to be too negative about it. But Italian bikes, this included, you never know what you're going to get, really. I want to know your guys' opinion in the comments below. What do you guys think of electric bikes? And electric cars, for that matter. I know I had a comment a couple videos ago saying that, you know, it doesn't make sense for you to have a bike like this and daily electric car. But I think that makes perfect sense. To me, I have a boring car to go to work and back. It's cheap to drive. It's pretty quick for what it is. And when I want to have fun on the days to work, or weekends, I can take this thing out and absolutely tear up everything. What noise was that? Oh, this thing is stupid. They said no rain today, but it's looking pretty gloomy out. Fun section. Woo! Woo! I hit the quick shifter on that last one. That kind of hurt. Ugh. It cut, but it didn't shift, so it just kind of brought me down super hard. Oh man, my nuts. Oh man, that hurt. Oh. They haven't really solved the problem with electric bikes like they did with the Plaid, where it doesn't stop pulling. Electric bikes, if they have the torque, they have all that, you know, power down low, but then when you get to the top end, they kind of lose it. So where this just starts waking up on the top end, those things are kind of already dead. And this does have a fair bit of torque, but not the amount that you get with electric. Let's see if we can get a wave out of these kids walking back. Look at them. Oh my gosh, so much fun. So you guys see why I love commuting on this thing. It's a joy every single time. The kids love it, obviously. Now we're getting behind a car, so I will take it a little more easy. The current status of my water pump is still pretty good, actually. I don't know what it is, but when you ride a motorcycle, the Amish wave to you, I don't know, like 95% of the time. In a car, if I were to wave, good luck. Sometimes they do. Maybe it's because I'm more like vulnerable like they are in their buggies and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But it's so funny, we're in this transitional stage, and in my region specifically, it's very interesting because you have the Amish who are still horse and buggies. Then you have gas cars and gas bikes. And then you have electric cars. So you have these like 3 generations of industry standards depending on the era that you're in. I know electric cars aren't necessarily industry standard, but there's so many of them now, and there's going to be so much more that it's kind of inevitable. And for me specifically, I know you guys, this is kind of boring stuff, but again, I'm a numbers guy. For me to go to work and back is a 70-mile trip. In my car, that costs less than $2. I pay 10 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. It costs me $2. On this bike, I get less than 30 miles per gallon. So I'm using a little more than 2 gallons on a conservative side. That's still, I have to buy 93, that's over $4 a gallon. I'm basically spending $9 to $10 in gas on this thing versus my car. So this thing is 5 times as expensive as my car to take to work, but I still take it to work. It's just, I get both sides. That's why I think I have a very unique perspective on this. I understand the thrill of the engine sound, the rip of the top end of this engine, the feeling of the vibration. That sounds kind of dumb, but that's more of a Harley thing. Anyway, with electric cars, my car is fast. I bet it would beat this to 60 and maybe even like 70, just because this thing would just wheelie. But past that, no contest. Obviously it's this. But they're so cheap to drive into work that it totally makes sense for me. But you bet, on the nice days, I'm bringing this thing in. I work a boring, you know, office job, 9 to 5 kind of thing. So this is my enjoyment of the day, you know, going to and leaving work. It's something I can look forward to before I get home. Obviously, I love being home the most, but on the journey there and back, I might as well enjoy myself as well, you know? Getting stuck behind slower cars kind of sucks because, again, my rear tire's almost gone, so that middle's just going to wear out. The sides are going to be perfectly fine, which really bums me out. It's almost like you need to time it and go to like a track day or something right when your middle of your tire's gone, because you know on track days you're never going to use that middle of the tire. The corners will eat up the sides real quick. Should take my bike over those. That'd be fun. Oh god, I can imagine just eating poop, for lack of a better term. I also feel that the electric versions of motorcycles are drastically more expensive, at least brand new. I don't know how the used pricing is. And, you know, I'm one to talk with this thing, but this is like made to be expensive. People already know it's going to be expensive. Whereas those, you know, you're coming from companies that you haven't necessarily heard of. So to be charging like $15,000, $20,000 for a motorcycle is it's a lot to ask. But batteries aren't cheap. I also want to know if any of you guys are in my situation. Have you ever, like, do you have a bike to enjoy or multiple bikes to enjoy, and then you have like maybe an electric daily? Or I'm very curious on what everybody kind of takes to work versus what they get to enjoy taking to work. And I don't mean to make this like a, oh, you know, electric cars are all good. You know, it has its drawbacks. If I wanted to make a long trip right now, I would definitely have to stop more often than someone with a gas car. I get that. But again, we have both. So there's no reason that we can't take those trips. We just take the other car. I would say if you had an electric bike as your like third bike, second or third at least, then you'd be fine. Because then, again, I could take that thing to work, 70-mile commute total, no problem. It'd probably be pretty low when I got it back because I like to obviously rip on stuff, but I think it's totally doable. But anything more than that, you need another motorcycle. You need to have something else, because you can watch all the other videos on YouTube of guys that, you know, test ride those things, and they're gonna go try to find a charger, and they find chargers just fine, but they plug it in and it tells them they have like an hour plus that they have to sit there and wait just for the battery to charge, because the motorcycles don't have the kind of fast charging that the cars have, and they have much smaller batteries, but even then it still doesn't help the situation. Ooh, she sounds good. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get any highway rips in, that's for sure. There's so many people out. That's like a Final Destination truck if I ride behind that. Oof. Whoa, don't hit that. I'm almost to work, so I'm going to end this one. Really appreciate you guys watching all my videos. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one.